What happened? All right, looks like we back on. Stream froze up or something. Disconnected us. I don't think that was us. Let me put this mouse down. But I don't think that was us. But anyway, yeah. So like I said, we did make some changes. We got the new software, so we're operating on that. We have a new. Look, we were trying to get a new background, but we couldn't settle on what we should do with the background. And then there's lighting issues as well. It's got to be a certain type of background.
But if you notice, there's something missing. There's something.
Oh yeah,
there's something missing right here.
Yeah, like right here.
It almost feels like I lost a limb, dog.
Yeah, exactly. Like right up in my faces.
I feel like I lost a limb.
Yeah, we finally got rid of those burdensome microphones that were in our faces. I mean, they did the job. They did the job for over 2 years, man. But
I mean,
it's about time.
No matter how much I guess no matter how much I talked on them, it still didn't feel natural because there's something just right all up in here.
Yeah,
something all.
And we got notes here on the table too, and I'm over here trying to look around it. Like I said, I think we came up and just let us know how the video is, how the sound is. I already see that, especially with my hat, I see some. Some of the image is not what I like it to be. Like I said, the ultimate goal is to remove this green screen and to get an actual backdrop. So like I said, we're gonna be moving on to that. But just let us know. You see, I just seen it. You see this.
See, you know what's so funny?
Right? You see this, right?
Do you know what's so funny, L Train? Like literally 5 minutes before the show, I said, watch L Train have something to say about your hat. Now, he didn't directly say something about your hat, but that is a very kind of passive attack on your hat.
It is.
By mentioning the Boston Red Sox. That's a passive attack.
It is.
You being a Yankees fan.
I caught the World Series. I caught it. 4-1. Yeah, I caught it. That's it. That's it. That's it. That's all I have to say.
That was probably one of the swiftest World Series I've ever seen. Yeah. Well, since I've been alive.
Yeah, it was I thought the Dodgers was gonna bring a little bit something, but they brought nothing. There was one game that was very exciting. I think that was game. I can't even remember now. They were.
What was that player that?
I think it was game 3.
I don't know if it was game 3 or game 4, but
3.
some player was at bat and the pitch came close to him and he stuck his butt out and he twerked after it went by.
Oh, I don't remember that.
You don't remember that part? I forgot what player that was,
no,
man. Yeah, like I think he was. I want to say he had a Hispanic name, but yeah, he tried to avoid.
Puig?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't remember that though. I don't think I saw it. Or if I did, I just don't remember.
He kind of tried. He avoided the pitch that was kind of in. Yeah. He bent over and the mug dog. He threw it in a circle. He threw it in a circle, man. But I think he hit a home run after that, so it must have did something.
All right. So anyway, all right. So let's get to the big issues of the day. Of course, this is election day, like we said. We hope that you went out there and voted. I went out there and voted. I made a little short video when I was out there. It's supremely important every single election, no matter if it's just local elections or state elections, whatever. Every vote is important. But of course, this being the time for midterms, it is a time to say, okay, how do you feel about this current administration? Do you feel like the country is going in the right direction? Do you feel like there needs to be some type of resistance to what's going on with the party that's in control of the White House and in the Senate and in the House of Representatives?
Now, I haven't been following politics hard all my life.
Right.
Kind of always had my ear to it, but I haven't followed it as hard as I am currently. Now, I just don't remember there being so much weight put on midterms before. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Like I said, there's always that narrative that like, hey, this is the most important election of our lifetime. But there's a little bit of extra right now. There's a little bit of extra.
I think that's just always used in order to kind of energize people to go vote.
Yeah, no doubt.
But it does seem like this time that kind of is a legit way to look at it.
Yeah, it kind of feels like that.
Kind of feels like it is, man.
We haven't had a president like Trump before. We've had his policies before because, like we have stated many times before, Trump is just another Republican. His style is different, but he's just another Republican. The agenda is the same, but the way he goes about and delivering his business
blatantly, he does it blatantly. Republicans historically have tried to kind of dog whistle their way through their agenda and kind of like ease it through.
Right.
Kind of just being, I guess, nice draconians.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they
you can
they
still,
dress it up.
They dress it up.
Yeah.
Trump doesn't dress it up.
No, not even a little bit.
So he's just taking their agenda and just kind of like putting nitrous
exactly
into it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. To give it
that extra
level of,
toxicity. Toxicity, man.
But anyway, so coming into this day, election day, no lie, the momentum was with the Democratic Party. And no matter where you look, the projection is that the Democratic Party will overtake the House. Now, we don't know if that's going to be, what's going to happen or not. But like I said, it's presumed that they will take control of the House. Now, the Senate is another issue. More Democratic Senate seats are up for grabs than Republican seats. So they have to defend home field, and they have to do a +2. They have to gain 2 seats in the Senate to overtake it, which I don't know. It doesn't seem likely, but it could happen.
I think with the perception of the Republicans right now, because they are, I guess, irreversibly linked to Trump right now, because number one, they don't oppose him enough.
No, they don't. Only the ones that are not seeking re-election. Those are the only ones that kind of flip the script a little bit. Exactly.
So yeah, you mentioned the Senate. I don't know. I can't remember how much they need to flip the House. Like 20 something.
They need 23 seats. Well, they need a net gain of 23 seats. Nancy Pelosi, the House Minority Leader, she projects that they will have a net 30 gain in the House, which again is very possible. I went through. It was a very exhaustive process, of course, to go through every single race in the United States of America. The ones that I guess are projected to be competitive, it seems like only one race is actually or not projected, but it's possible that it might flip red. The other ones have a good possibility of flipping blue. So it doesn't seem like it's gonna or it's setting up nicely for the Republican Party.
Well, before we took our little break, we addressed that.
Yeah.
We addressed that there were Republican donors that kind of felt the heat.
Right.
And
so they
started pumping in money.
Right.
We
talked about the Koch network.
Yeah.
That was months ago.
When
they were feeling that heat. And they were like, man, look, this is serious.
And actually, Trump is feeling that heat too.
Yeah.
He's feeling the heat so much that he kind of, to me, for a brief moment, turned over a new leaf. I say that like in jest. Because I didn't say he backpedaled, but he inserted himself into some of these races. And particularly he inserted himself into the race in Texas. For some reason, that's funnier than all the other races because it's Ted Cruz.
It is funny, isn't it?
You see what I'm saying? All that stuff he said Lying Ted, talked about my man's wife, talked about my man's father, said he assassinated JFK. But now, he is beautiful Ted.
Beautiful Ted.
Beautiful Ted. Mr.
No
Beautiful.
Longer lying, Ted.
No longer lying.
Beautiful Ted to me.
So, Trump, for just one moment, and within this one race, is not being selfish. He's thinking about the Republican Party.
He's taking one for the team.
He's taking one for the team.
Look at that.
Look at that. You see how that hurdle is low, but we acknowledge that he cleared it very significantly.
He did clear it. Props to him.
For not being selfish for this one race.
There was a funny scene last night. Trump was at a rally in Missouri last night. And guess who popped up onto the stage with them?
Who would that be?
You would think it'd be some, I don't know, some maybe current politicians, some former politicians, some corporate heads or something like that. No, it was none other than Fox News' Sean Hannity and Judge Jeanine Pirro.
That is quite
Jeanine Pirro.
Janine,
yeah.
that's quite surprising.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't expect to see them at a Trump rally.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, they haven't given any indication that they are pro-Trump in any way.
Yeah.
They have not used their position as media figures to kind of co-sign on any of Trump's agenda. I don't know where this is coming from.
But it's not surprising to see them at the rally, covering the rally, of course, but to see them on stage participating in the rally is something totally different. And even today, Fox News, corporate, of course, came out and said that was unfortunate. They were disappointed in that choice. That's not what they do, blah, blah, blah. Because, see, look, they project themselves as a news organization. A news organization that is, what's their tagline?
Fair and balanced.
Fair and balanced.
So what
right?
that means is they can't be, I guess, sniffing in the ass of any particular like political candidate, especially if that person, not just candidate, but figure, is the leader of the United States.
You can't be in on campaigns when you're trying to be news. Like, you can have your take. You can say that, yeah, you're a conservative and you support this and this type of agenda and blah, blah, blah. You can say that you support the president and these other politicians. But to actually engage in helping the candidacy, the campaigns, man, that's something different. And remember, there have been liberals that have gotten in trouble for that. So at MSNBC, somebody got fined for that before.
So you're saying it takes a lot of pride to go about doing that. Takes a bit of gall to go about doing that.
It does. Because, look, we already know what they stand for, right? And the only problem is that they call themselves a news organization. Like, if you say that, hey, we're just a conservative platform and we're going to be engaged with these conservative candidates, cool, be you. But you're lying to the people saying that you're a news platform who is unbiased. That's false. So that's why I think it's very funny. Like, we are not like a news organization. Like, we report on the news, we give our opinion on the news, but there's no, like, we will tell you who we support, and we make no bones about that.
I don't.
If they did that, there wouldn't be a problem.
First of all, I'm not so sure that Fox News didn't know that they were going to be there, because
Hannity on Twitter said that he was not participating in the event. He was only there to cover it, and then he did participate, and then later on he was like, that was completely unplanned. My words were true. I did not plan on taking part in this rally. That's what he said.
Wait a second. Like, so they were brought on the stage as some sort of impromptu.
Yes, Trump called them onto the stage. And so they were like, hey, okay.
I mean, Trump is kind of, like just very kind of in the moment kind of dude.
Yeah,
spontaneous. So that could be the case.
Right.
But I doubt that's the case. I highly doubt that's the case. Now, it doesn't matter whether it was planned or not. Are they going to be faced with some sort of punishment from the network?
Exactly. Because you would think that they should have to be.
Yeah, especially, I mean, if I did not inform my job that I was going to be participating in an event that kind of directly related to my job, then they would say
some type of penalty.
And if I didn't tell my network that I was doing that, then I did it on purpose.
You would think, like I said, they've already came out. Fox News, the organization, the corporation, they already came out and said that no, that was the wrong choice there. We're disappointed that those events took place. So, are you going to go further?
I guess I want to say I have a small amount of respect for the network for coming out and saying that, but it doesn't mean much to me, because Hannity has a long leash. They've given Hannity a long leash for a long time. This is not really surprising. And when you give somebody a long leash, what do you expect? He's going to go out and do stuff like this.
Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what I said about Megyn Kelly, too. You give somebody enough rope to hang themselves, they're surely going to do that. So look, this is not surprising. Just one quick comment. Of course, we have a difference of opinions in the chat section, and all of that is welcome. Hail Hydra is saying that black unemployment was raised under Obama. No, you're wrong there. It's a consistent trend downward. During Trump's administration, it's just continued that trend. There's been no like significant bump down or anything like that. If you actually look at the data, it's been a trend downwards for years. So you're just wrong there.
I never understood the need to focus on black unemployment. Now, especially for conservatives and Republicans or people on the right. If you're going to focus on black unemployment in regard to this president, to me, that runs counterintuitive to your whole narrative about, I guess, black equity in this country, right? Why would you be mentioning, look at black unemployment. Look what he's doing specifically for black people. Why would you be making a point like that if black people had an equally viable chance in this nation? Why would that even be a point? And when people on the left like try to demand some sort of demographic kind of based initiative, it's scoffed at.
Yeah, it is.
But all of a sudden, when it comes to Trump, look what he did for black people. Yeah. I'm supposed to applaud? Like, get the fuck out of here.
Like I was saying, under Barack Obama, the rate fell. It was falling, and Trump just continued to that fall. I mean, like it's a consistent trend. Now, under Barack Obama, I don't remember this being a narrative here. I don't remember Fox News talking about black unemployment and how good Barack Obama was for black people. But now that Trump is continuing that trend and there's been no significant movement, all of a sudden he's a savior?
Again,
that's crazy.
But again, if the viability of everyone was equal, that wouldn't even be a point. And there are certain people who believe that the viability of everyone as far as attaining jobs and access is equal. Yeah. Again, but why the necessity to make that point if the former I just mentioned is true?
And why don't we talk about black underemployment too? How about that? We don't talk about that, do we? Anyway, all right. So anyway, back to election coverage. Like I said, there's many races that we definitely will be keeping our eyes open for. We just stated that Democrats need 23 seats to gain control of the House. They need 2 in the Senate to gain control of the Senate. So Trump and Republicans, they have consistently, and it's not just this cycle, it's been a pretty common trend. They use fear to try to get out the vote. They use fear so that people don't dare try to, maybe if you have voted Republican before, maybe if you're independent, they don't dare try to vote Democrat. Or even if the things that Trump has done and he has said, like just disgust you, well, hey, we're going to scare you because it's not going to matter how bad Trump is because we're going to scare you for what the Democrats will do. So Trump released this ad, which was completely disgusting. Wow. And I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. We'll play it let's just play it for anybody that has not seen it.
The 7,000 migrant caravan crossing Mexico, marching toward our border. Dangerous illegal criminals like cop killer Luis Bracamontes don't care about our laws. The only thing is true too. America cannot allow this invasion. The migrant caravan must be stopped. President Trump and his allies will protect our border and keep our families safe. America's future depends on you. Stop the caravan. Vote Republican.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
All right, so actually that was the revamped one. I hit the wrong button. Like I said, we're going to have some bumps along this road dealing with this new software and just figuring out what we have to do. That was actually the updated one that was ran on television. Actually, NBC had the gall to actually run it during Sunday Night Football. And then afterwards, they pulled it stating that, oh, yeah, we realize some statement they made, like we realize how offensive it is or something, blah, 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 blah.
So basically,
CNN refused to run it.
So
NBC
basically,
did, though.
they took that money and ran.
Oh yeah.
They took that money and ran.
Oh yeah. During Sunday Night Football.
Sunday
Night Football.
Yeah, Sunday Night Football, which has a lot of viewers, so they probably got some, like, a lot of cheese for that.
Oh, hell
they probably
yeah.
got high dollar for that campaign.
No doubt. For that ad spot?
For that
hell
ad?
yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. For that
So
time
they
slot?
probably already had their apology planned
Oh.
as they were taking their money.
True. This was the one that Donald Trump, he had released on Twitter.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, please step out of the hallway.
They're fucking dead. Don't fucking break up soon, and I'll kill more. See, the only thing that fucking regret is if I can just kill two. I wish if I could kill more of those motherfuckers. I'll kill more cops soon.
He says he wants to apply for pardon for the felony he committed. Attempt of murder.
So, again, that was one of the most racist ads that I have seen. It's been stated before. You remember the Willie Horton ad way back in the day in the 80s.
In the 80s?
Yeah, about that was against Dukakis. But this one, you know, I can't forget, you know, I was going to say forget the racism aspect. Don't forget the racism aspect, but a larger point is that this is just inaccurate.
It's completely false.
It's completely false.
Like, if you're going to, like, I guess, pin some blame for this one person on a party, you better make sure your facts are right. But I think facts were not the focus here. I think, like you said, it was about some fear-mongering leading up to the midterms to try to, like, I don't know, the last-ditch effort at, I guess, getting people to a point where they are fearful of the Democratic Party and what they're about to allow in this country.
Right.
These murderous, soulless, heartless, cold-blooded killers.
Right. And again, like you say, you have to deal with the facts. This guy, this one guy that they chose to focus on, actually, he dealt with different administrations. But the last one that he dealt with, the last one,
which one though?
was Bush's, which is a Republican.
Okay.
So it makes no sense to say that Democrats let him into the country. Democrats are letting, like, think about who the Democrats would let in next. It makes no sense. And this is coming from a guy who constantly harps on fake news. Constantly.
Oh, so
he beats that drum consistently.
So what are you saying? Are you saying that's a projection?
We see that as accurate. But see, we know that a lot of his followers, we know that a lot of President Trump's followers just don't care. Or they just don't pay attention. Oh. Like, they won't read into, like, the truth behind this ad spot. But they won't go find out the truth. It's just, hey, look, an invasion is coming. Look, that other guy that was applying for asylum. He attempted murder. These are the type of people that Democrats want to let in the country.
Okay.
Open borders.
I don't think that their willingness to believe stuff like that is just about their support of Trump. I just think that their willingness to believe things like that without looking into them is a function of, I guess, their own beliefs being validated. Okay. I think it's a little bit of both. Yeah. I don't think it's just their support for Trump. I just think that that's kind of what they already believe. Yeah. And that kind of commercials like that offer validations towards those attitudes. So, I don't know. I guess I don't know how much of an impact, ads like that actually have. And I don't know if anybody who believes something like that can be redeemed. No, they can't. What if they're not going to look at the little things? Like, what did he say? I don't know if it's at that same rally you talked about with Haney. I can't remember what rally that was, where he said, I've actually kept more promises than I've made. You see what I'm saying? That's something little. You don't have to read into that. So if you're not even reading into something like that, that's kind of blatantly retarded.
Yeah.
Then how are you going to read into a campaign commercial that has information that's fact, not fact based? Like, how do you keep more promises than you make? If you make 10 promises, you only can keep 10 promises. Simple math. But are we expecting them to look at a commercial and look at it skeptically?
You say he's playing with a handicap. Trump is playing with a
He's
handicap.
playing with a handicap. Not just him. His base has a handicap.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So not only is he playing with a handicap, he is, I guess, energizing people who are intellectually and politically and socially handicapped themselves. So,
and this started from before he was even elected. This started on the campaign trail, even before. People that were with him during the whole birther nonsense. It started well before he actually was elected president. So, like you said, is there a
you know what? Yeah, because
like
if again, I can't sit here and like blame just one man for kind of how these people are responding to him. Mm-hmm. Because if you look at how the Republican Party responded to Obama his first time, mm-hmm. Trump was kind of in the background. Most of that was galvanized by like Fox News and people who are traditionally Republican voters. That had nothing to do with Trump. Mm-hmm. So like even Trump's treatment of Barack Obama as far as the birther thing and people co-signing that, I still can't blame him for that because there were so many other Republicans pushing that shit too.
True. It wasn't just a Trump issue.
It wasn't just Trump, man.
Yeah. He might have did the most. He might have did the most.
And like we said, that's what he does. He just does the most.
Yeah.
He just puts nitrous in there.
But he wasn't alone.
He was not alone.
So anyway, all right. So there are other there are a lot of different ballot measures that are going to be voted on today, or that were voted on, that are still being voted on in the western states, the Midwest states. One of them in Florida we talked about months ago, Amendment 4. It's the Voting Rights Restoration for Felons initiative. And so it would restore automatically the voting rights to felons that were, not terribly violent. If they didn't commit a murder or they didn't have a sexual offense, it would automatically restore their voting rights conditionally. I mean, if they had satisfied all the
terms of their
release,
probation and all
that. All of that. If they have satisfied those requirements, then they get their voting rights back automatically. So that is huge. That is great, and I hope that Florida does take the opportunity to do that because, I mean, we've talked about it before. It's insane to do that. Like we've tried to even have this discussion on where the line is drawn. Like, what offense is too far for you to never lose your voting rights back? You know,
like to never get your rights. Dang, like I never actually sat down and really thought about it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying, and analyzed my own thoughts and other people's positions on it. I never actually sat down and said, you know what, in what situations should people lose that? At all, or for a period of time? Is it just when they take a life?
Right. What? But then you have to think, right? There's many ways to take a life. It could be manslaughter. It could be murder. And
Yo, you got hype for it.
I'm saying it's like, what if there's some of these cops, right? We talk about police officers abusing their
power. Oh, so now you're getting into abuse of power on the job. So now it can't just apply to civilians doing things.
Right. Now, some of these cops, I'm sure, will be charged with manslaughter, will be convicted of manslaughter. It's happened before. So, I mean, like how do you judge? Okay, they took a life, right? That it could be murder to some people. Some people will say, yeah, it's clearly murder, but they won't. The jury won't convict them on murder. They'll convict them on manslaughter.
And most likely they'll convict them on a lesser charge because they're a cop.
Exactly.
So basically, whether you lose rights is based on how much power you have, how much
could
power
be.
you have to affect your own case,
could
which
be.
is going to be based on your societal position or your privilege or whatever.
Which
else.
is wrong.
It's still, we're going to be back in the same spot.
Yeah.
We're going to be back in the same spot.
I don't know, man. To have it that subjective, or just to draw a line, I don't know. I don't like it. But anyway, it's a good thing that's happening in Florida. Hopefully, voters will do the right thing and they will vote yes on this initiative. In 3 other states, in West Virginia, Oregon, and Alabama, voters are going to be considering placing new limits on abortion. So that's disappointing, of course, but we know states always try to do this, and it's usually the southern states. I was surprised to learn that Oregon is one of these states, which
Oregon is seen as a progressive state.
Traditionally, yeah, a progressive state.
I mean, I know the history behind Oregon as a white supremacist safe haven. I know that, but they've come a long way since then.
Yes, they have. Yeah. So we'll see how it shakes out. We'll see what they determine. In 3 other states, in 3 other states, Idaho, Utah, and Nebraska, voters are going to be choosing whether or not to expand Medicaid. So definitely we hope that they choose to expand Medicaid.
Yeah. I'm trying to think, there was only like one there was only one thing on our ballot, or my ballot at least. I don't know, you on the line.
Yeah.
Your neighborhood is on the line.
Right.
And I think I live right across the line from you. So
ours was about
the superintendent.
Yeah, that was whether the governor.
Dog, I saw that. I was like, wait a second.
Hell
the
no.
school superintendent be appointed by the governor and then approved by what, the Senate?
Yeah.
And
hell no.
I was like, no, keep it the same way. Wait a second. How are you going to take the power
away from the
parents have? Whatever. I mean, obviously, I'm going to vote on it too, even though I don't have any kids. But I'm just thinking about parents in this instance. Right. I'm like, wait a second. How you going to have? You
going to leave it up to the governor?
I'm like, how you going to leave it up to the governor?
Please.
And I'm like, nah. You should have the power to appoint the superintendent in the district your school your kid goes to. I'm like,
the people, not the governor.
I don't know.
That's crazy.
Why? I was like, why is this on here? I was like, why the heck? I was like, man, I hit that no so hard. I unchecked it just so I could check it again. I was like,
I went back just to make sure it stayed the same way.
I was
like, man, there's no way I'm approving that.
Crazy as hell.
Also, in 2 states, in Michigan and North Dakota, voters are going to be deciding whether to permit recreational marijuana use. Recreational marijuana use.
Yo, man, why you sound like that? Yo, you sound. I felt some emotion.
Man, I hope they do the right thing here.
I was like, I'm like, man, when was the last time I even? It's been a while. But see, it's not about me.
Yeah, it's not about us.
But
yeah.
I like that because that's a step above medical use.
Oh, yes.
Because the problem we have now is not that medical use is demonized. The problem is recreational use is demonized. I think correct. Sometimes there are candidates and our representatives that kind of use the medical marijuana agenda as a way to kind of slide their way in and not seem like they're backwards.
Yeah.
Even though we all know that just going the full mile, going the full distance is the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do. Stop half-stepping.
No,
right?
That's a massive half step because you're not actually, I guess, solving the issue.
Because you'll have candidates that'll say, well, we need some more research done. You know, I don't know if I'm an advocate for just full legalization. We need some more Really? You need... Stop it. Because that's just half-stepping right there.
They're just trying
We already know the deal.
They're trying to appeal to both sides.
Yeah.
They're trying to appeal to both
sides.
And
they just don't want to go that full way. And, they don't know what the repercussions of that will be politically. So it's like, I don't want... Nah. We know what the right thing is.
Politically or...
financially?
But probably a little bit of both.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true. But then also in 2 other states, Missouri and Utah, they're going to consider medicinal use of marijuana. So lots of stuff that, lots of stuff, good stuff, hopefully good stuff that voters will be approving of. A guy by the name of Christopher McQueen, I believe. No, Christopher Thomas Queen. Today he was arrested because of a little situation at a polling location, at his polling precinct. There's a 48-year-old guy in Pennsylvania. He was told at his polling precinct that he was not registered to vote. This dude became enraged. He reportedly told the polling workers that he was going to come back and shoot them.
Yo, dog, if I was a volunteer at that polling place, I'd be like, I don't get paid enough for this.
Hell no. You
Matter
know
of fact,
they don't get paid enough.
at all.
Exactly.
So I'm like, since I'm not,
You're volunteer, right?
Actually, if I was getting paid, I'd probably still peace out.
Oh, yeah. Because you don't get paid enough for that.
There's not enough money.
So I don't know at what point the details were not, there weren't a lot of details on this, but I don't know at what point he was actually arrested, but he was arrested, I guess, before he showed back up with his gun and started shooting. And he was charged with making terroristic threats and disorderly conduct, as he should be. Look, I know, like we said, election day is always up here. You know, it's always up here, and it's always framed as that. Like I said, the most important election of our lifetimes. We always hear that every 2 years. Most important election of our lifetime. So I know the tensions are high. I know people want to perform their civic duty. I know a lot of people have very passionate feelings about who they support. But don't get crazy. Don't get crazy. You know what I'm saying? You're in jail now. I mean,
you sound like Bonquiqui from Mad TV. Don't get crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Try to love your head a little bit.
I know, but I guess maybe that kind of passion can kind of be dispersed out to everybody else, because that's very passionate.
Yeah.
When you're trying to cap jokers, when you're trying to cap people.
Yeah. I mean, I understand how frustrating that would be,
but I wish that passion was dispersed out to everybody else. He just had it all built up. My mom said when she went to vote, she said she saw like a lot of young people.
Really?
She said she saw a lot of young people.
I will say this, man, and it just seems like we've been through this many times. I mean, we voted many times in our lifetime by this point.
Yeah.
But it just seems like you said at the beginning of the show, it seems like there's a lot more fuel behind this fire in 2018, and especially with young people. And a lot of that has to do with social media and the internet.
You got it.
A lot more people are actually involved and engaged, and they're being informed of what's going on and the candidates, what they support, what they don't support. So
it doesn't take as much
energy
to kind of be engaged as it used to, because everything is coming at you.
True.
It's like, you know, younger people tend to have the technology like at their fingertips more so than older people. So I guess the access to it is coming faster. So yes, they probably are attached to some bullshit.
Right.
Obviously. I mean, I ain't gonna sit there and say I was like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna sit there and say I was on the most important issues when I was 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
Right.
I can say I was like, yeah, I wasn't following it that much.
Nah.
I think it, but see, it might have been different if kind of information flowed the same way.
Yeah.
Back when I was 18, 19, and 20.
That's true. Because like we said, but back in the, mid 90s, late 90s, of course we had internet back then, but you didn't have it on your phone.
You know what kind of internet we had?
Of course. Dial up like a mug, right? So it just wasn't as easy to do it. And then I think that has a lot to do with interest too. Like if you have to if you have to go out of your way to find the information, when it's not readily accessible on your phone, on your tablet, you have to watch CNN as a 18, 19, 20-year-old kid. That's not...
Also, it may have to do with, like, maybe a particular hot-button issue affecting them.
It could be.
Because a big deal with college students is what?
Well, yeah, it's
tuition and student loans.
And sexual assault.
And sexual assault. And if we look at the direction this administration is going, with not just the Trump, but who he has appointed as Secretary of Education, and their agenda and their positions on all those issues, you know, college students may perk up.
That's true.
A bit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when issues affect you, you might kind of tune in a little bit more and a little bit more intently. So that could have something to do with it too.
But like we said, it just seems like there's just a lot more attention being given to politics.
Yeah, and
that's just the general consensus now. Young people, you know, mid-age, you know, middle-aged people, old. I mean, it's all over the place, and all of that is good because, look, the older generation we know is going to be more conservative. As a whole, as a general rule, they're probably going to be more conservative than the younger generation, than the people that are in their 30s and 40s. That's just goes with the business.
And I don't think it's just conservative. I just think it's also maybe content.
Yeah.
If you feel that, hey, this is what we fought for, so you know, I'm content with how far we've gotten.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My life is almost over. I'm middle-aged, or I'm 60, or I'm 70, or I'm 80.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The fight is not going to be in you as much.
Right.
So I can see the tendency to kind of like fall off a bit because you are content with whatever progress, you know, you felt that has been made already.
Yeah. So, all right. So some results are starting to come in. Let's see. And like I said, this is just anecdotal at this point.
Because it's still so early.
Yeah. Right now, in Florida for governor, Andrew Gillum has a lead, small lead by about 100,000 votes over Ron DeSantis. I did catch a little bit of the debate that they had. DeSantis, wow. What a poor performance. It was utter domination. And that's, you know what? Of course, we line up more so on the Andrew Gillum side of ideology, no doubt. But just looking at it, just taking a step back and just looking at how both of them operated, both of them just the showing that they had.
Basically, how they engage with one another and
Yes.
how they engage with the debate environment.
Oh, it
like
couldn't have been worse.
DeSantis, like there were times where he was squirming.
Yes.
And he looked mad uncomfortable, like he was uncomfortable in his own body.
Very unnatural.
Like unnatural. Like
Yeah.
he was like. Like it was like the body snatchers or something.
Yeah, man.
Because like maybe he was surprised at how articulate and informed and direct Gillum was.
Yeah.
Like with everything. First, Gillum came out and was like, "Yeah, you're whack for this. You're for the monkeying it up. You're whack for that."
Exactly.
And then he went on to explain like his positions on like healthcare, the environment, and I was like, he surprised me because like I've been following his campaign. I tried to check out like not just his commercials. I don't really like watching the commercials. I like watching more
That's
like
just like a 30-second highlight.
30-second highlight.
Yeah.
I like watching like extended interviews or like when he did like Facebook videos, like things where he's sitting behind a desk and he's asked like intrusive questions. I like that better. So I've been following him, and actually I was more so impressed with his showing at the debate. It was like, it looked like DeSantis was going through some sort of internal like reflection, and he was like,
Like, shit, what I get myself into?
"What the? Maybe I'm the one who's going to monkey it up."
But see, we knew that
I'm
from the beginning, from that initial showing that he had on Fox News after the primary, and when he said that infamous "monkey it up" comment, we reported that his base, or even like his camp or whatever, they were prepared to be called sexist because they didn't think Andrew Gillum had a shot in hell to actually come out with the nomination.
Oh,
so they were prepared to face a woman.
Underestimated him.
Yes.
So basically, it was like during that debate, there was so many. It was at this point he knew he fucked up moments for DeSantis, because that's what he looked like. He looked like a deer caught in the headlights. But like you said, it wasn't just about that debate. It was about their whole game plan.
Yeah.
Their whole game plan being squashed because Gillum.
He came to the game unprepared. He came to that debate unprepared, and it just really showed. So I don't think there's a question about who's more prepared to be governor in Florida. Of course, I share most of the ideology of Andrew Gillum, so I mean that's not surprising. But like I said, just taking a step back and really viewing these candidates side by side, DeSantis looks terribly unprepared.
Yeah,
terribly
unprepared,
incapable.
And if you go look,
at
his campaign website, it's been about a month since I looked at it, maybe a month and a half. It's a joke.
Yeah,
it's a joke. It's kind of filled with overplayed right-wing platitudes, and doesn't point to any serious like legislative agenda that challenges the status quo. It's just your typical right-wing. I'm for pro guns and pro free speech and like,
Trump. Yeah, go to the wall.
We all know about the commercial.
Exactly, that ad spot with his child building the wall. This guy, he's bad news, man.
Hey, but is that? Let's see. Is it more permissible, or I want to put it like that? But what's more disgusting, him making that commercial, or those teachers in Idaho?
Oh, yeah. We're gonna get.
We'll talk about that later.
We're gonna get to that.
We're gonna get that later.
But I'd say him.
Really? Think so?
You know what? I don't know, man. I don't even know. I'm gonna have to think about it. I have some time. I'm gonna have to think about it. You said, really?
Because I don't know myself. I'm just putting it out there.
You made me question myself.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know myself. I was like, wait a second, because one happened after, and one's fresher.
Right.
So I was like, wait a second, which one's worse?
Yeah, that's true. All right. So in Ohio, we're gonna stay with the gubernatorial races in Ohio. Richard Cordray and Mike DeWine. Mike DeWine is the Republican candidate. Richard Cordray is the former director of the CFPB, and he stepped down. It was late last year, I believe, and it was expected because everybody expected him to run for governor of Ohio. Right now, again, it's only 17% in, but he does have a lead, about a 13% lead. So I think he's expected to win that race. But like we said, anything can happen. It's not. I don't think he was like killing DeWine in the polls leading up to this day. In Pennsylvania, yeah, we don't have any results on Pennsylvania. Like I said, all of this is like we're just getting started. 3% in, blah blah blah. Hey, South Carolina, Smith has a 9-point lead. He's gonna beat McMaster. Look at the raw data here, man. McMaster's on his way out.
Oh, it's raw, all right. It's so raw.
He has about
3,000 vote lead.
Yeah, well, no, about 2,300. About 2,300.
Yeah.
Hey, let's stop the race. Let's just halt.
It's done.
Counting.
It's done. It's been certified, verified, signed, sealed, delivered.
Smith is the new governor of South Carolina. Let's just call it. Only 2% in. We don't expect that's going to.
Yo, man, in order for this to happen, especially in this state, man, I think every person has to have their fingers crossed.
Yeah, man.
As many fingers crossed as they can, as many toes crossed as they can. Everybody with dreads has to cross their dreads.
Yeah, man. It's I don't think it's the possibility isn't good for governor of South Carolina. Not for a Democrat. It's not good at this point. Let's see, Florida. Let's see. All right, so let's go to. Let's do some.
Senate joints.
Senate joints. Let's go to the Senate because we already did kind of bring up Ted Cruz. That's definitely a race that we're focused on. Ted Cruz and O'Rourke. Beto.
They could have the first governor. Well, the first Democratic governor in like 28 years.
28 years, man. Look, this is what I'll say about that race. All right. Obviously, we support Beto O'Rourke in that race. Obviously, we want Ted Cruz gone. Ted Cruz, I don't think there's one good thing I could say about Ted Cruz.
Even his family,
yeah,
is like, shown like instances where they don't like him.
Yes, and we've noted that before. His daughter.
Yeah, get away from me.
Don't kiss me. Yeah, get out of
here. Like, I remember one interview where like he caught him off guard, and I guess he was expecting them to lie about something, and they were like, no.
His mother was
his
caught
mother
up one time.
He was like, oh, hell no.
For the Democrats to overtake the Senate, I believe it boils down to that race right there. If they flip that seat, if Ted Cruz actually goes down, I think there's a good chance that they actually overtake the Senate. In the Senate, like, let me see here. All right, so these are the different Senate seats that are, I guess, up for grabs right now. All right, so Florida, there's going to be a contest between Bill Nelson and Rick Scott. Rick Scott right now is the current governor of Florida, but he's, he's trying to become the next senator. There's a chance that he might supplant Bill Nelson. There's a chance. I project that Bill Nelson is going to keep his seat, though. In Arizona, Martha McSally, Kyrsten Sinema. Kyrsten Sinema has been leading in the polls. This is Arizona. This is Jeff Flake's seat. Jeff Flake is retiring from Congress because of the Trump effect on politics.
I think that's his get out of jail free card.
That's his get out of jail. He's going to reemerge.
He's going to reemerge, or he's going to work as some sort of consultant, or he's going to be
for a
lobbying,
get
or
some millions.
Yeah, kind of like Boehner did.
Yep, exactly. Eric Cantor.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it is projected to go Sinema's way, but I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure if they take that, though. That would be a pleasant surprise. Even though Kyrsten Sinema is not.
She's not left enough for you?
No.
But compared to McSally.
Compared
who
to
said
McSally,
she was
definitely.
concerned. I don't know where I saw this at, but apparently she was concerned because she was taking a hit because of her position on health care. I'm like, yeah, what do you expect?
Exactly. If you have a very unpopular idea, you should expect
and see,
that.
I think, and that's the thing. You know what I think the Republicans were hoping? That there would be more Democrats running on like the concept of impeaching Trump, but they're not. They're running on Medicare for all.
Yes. And you know what I learned too, in looking at all of these candidates, there are a good number of candidates, Democratic candidates, that are running on Medicare for all. But there are also, I'd say, the large majority, if they're not running on Medicare for all, like a Bernie Sanders, Medicare for all, they're running on universal health care public option.
Or like expanding the ACA.
Yes.
Like,
they will note the public option. They will note that in their platform. So it's like, I didn't see that. Now, of course, like Barack Obama, when he was running for president.
It was in there.
It was in there, but come, 2010, 2012, 2014, 2016, I didn't see a lot of Democrats talking about the public option. But now in 2018, either they're on the side with Bernie, firmly saying Medicare for all, or they're now like, well, look, we got to do the public option. And a lot of them are saying, like, the reason why we're not, I guess, going as far as Bernie is because we realize in the next 2 years it's not possible. But public option, maybe we can get that done. And so it's just amazing that that's where Bernie took the Democratic Party in 2 years.
And I think that's a very smart agenda because it's not just a wedge issue that favors one particular party. That's the problem that Republicans have because Medicare for all is not just going to benefit like a certain group of constituents. It's going to benefit everybody. And the Republicans cannot get away from that fact. That's why they have been slipping.
Yep. So, right now, 11% in the Georgia governor race. Brian Kemp is leading, has a large lead over Stacey Abrams. Over 100,000, over 110,000 right now. But it's still very early, 11% in. That's gonna tighten up. That's gonna that lead.
Yeah, the poll I think I want to say the latest polls I saw like had them neck and neck.
Yeah. Stacey Abrams has a real good shot at taking that win. So I hope she does. Brian Kemp, he is the Secretary of State in Georgia.
Now, why is that significant, Mr. Gaillard?
Seems like a conflict of interest.
Why is that, though? Why is it a conflict of interest? What are one of the duties of the Secretary of State?
Well, they oversee elections.
Oversee elections, so they have to ensure voting integrity. They have to ensure people's voting rights are intact.
Yes, they do.
That's correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Also, they're in charge of suppressing the vote.
In this case.
Yeah, in this case, they're in charge of suppressing the vote, which Kemp has tried to do many
So you said
times.
there's a conflict of interest.
Oh, yes. Because this is his race.
It's his race. So, like, his duties as Secretary of State could affect the outcome of a race he's running in.
Mm-hmm. And again, he has tried to do this many times, and in this race, he tried to do it again. So there was this little provision he was trying to put forward, the exact max rule, the exact match rule. Right. But recently, it was struck down by a judge. So good thing. The exact match rule was like, if if on your voter's registration your name is different than on your driver's license, then sorry, we're going to have to take some time to see if you actually should be voting. So I believe that you would need to provide your identity to a deputy, somebody that sometimes is at the precinct, but not always. So it seems like a lot of people wouldn't have got the vote. A lot of people would have been left out of the process had this exact match rule actually gone through and actually was in place for this election. But again, the judge stopped that cold fast.
So he's kind of like, he's trying to play like dealer and player at the same time.
Oh yeah, he's trying to rig it in his favor. Just quite simply, he's trying to rig it in his favor. And we don't know what other tricks he has up his sleeve.
There was apparently some leaking going on as far as like the voter registry. People leaking voter registry is just kind of like purging voters.
Right.
And when he was pressured to address this, you know what he did? He claimed that the Democrats had hacked the registry, and he did that without any evidence. Without evidence.
Just pinning on the Democrats. Yeah. That makes sense.
That's some vile shit, man.
Yeah, it is. But it doesn't surprise me.
Doesn't surprise me. I mean, it doesn't surprise me that, you know, his agenda or his tactic to suppress the vote are coupled with who he pals around with. Or I would say compliments who he pals around with. He was seen at Georgia Wild Wings hugged up with a white supremacist. Hugged up. Gleefully hugged up.
I think he refused to take questions about that, too.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Again, if you're refusing to take questions about something, that's kind of suspicious.
Yeah, it's kind of indicative of your character. You know? But anyway, like I said, very early on, so we expect that race to tighten up. In Vermont, Christine Hallquist, who is the first transgender individual to be the nominee of a major party for governor, she's taking on Phil Scott, the incumbent, the Republican incumbent in Vermont. It's projected that Phil Scott is going to win, but you know, we'll see. There are a lot of candidates in this race, but the only two that I guess it seems like has a shot is Phil Scott, the incumbent, and Hallquist. So we'll see what happens there. Maryland, of course, the incumbent, Larry Hogan, the Republican. He's going up against Ben Jealous, the former head of the NAACP. Ben Jealous has ran a very progressive platform, has a lot of energy behind his campaign. It's still projected that he will not supplant the incumbent governor, though. But crazier things have happened. I don't think the polls had them too far apart. But still, you know, it is an uphill climb for Jealous. So we'll see. When you think of Maryland, you would think that, hey, Maryland is Baltimore, you know, should be a good chance. They've had Democratic governors before.
But they're a heavily gerrymandered state, too.
Yes,
I think we covered that a couple months ago. We did.
So right now, I don't think there's no results being reported right now. We already talked about Ohio.
I'm going to look on another site.
Look at that, man. See, I'm telling you, man. See, look, 4% in South Carolina. Smith is still up, but...
So it's 2% more reporting than the last time you highlighted it.
But he was up by like over 10,000, and now he's only up by like 1,400. Look, we're playing. We don't expect Smith to win. We don't expect it. We hope that he does, but we really don't expect it. Let's see. I know Moose Gal is from Illinois. The incumbent Bruce Rauner. He is Republican. He's facing J.B. Pritzker. Pritzker, I'm a little familiar with Pritzker. He's ran a pretty progressive platform. He supports marijuana legalization, Medicaid buy-in, assault weapons ban, $15 an hour minimum wage, federal minimum wage, and he does talk about holding police accountable. He has a criminal justice platform. Or criminal justice section on his platform, definitely on his campaign website. So just the fact that he is talking about holding police accountable is doing something.
Because
it's going the extra mile.
Because talking about it alone could make or break you.
Yes.
Talking about it alone is controversial.
Yes. Now I will say that I wish he did go a step further in addressing the racial aspect of criminal justice reform, because he was talking about sentencing, he was talking about mandatory minimums, he was talking about mass incarceration, he was talking about other programs instead of incarceration, he was talking about recidivism, he was talking about all these things, but he didn't include the racial aspect of it, which I think is necessary. At least an oversight. At least
is it an oversight or is it strategic? Is it an oversight or is it strategic?
That's why I say it's at least an oversight.
Because maybe he's concerned that will kind of like turn some people off. You see what I'm saying? Why not go ahead and implement policies that will go ahead and take care of everything?
Yeah.
Rather than like worry about addressing such policies with the racial undertones attached to them. If he goes forth with that agenda, it's going to have the effect anyway. Maybe he's kind of...
I feel you on that.
You said maybe he's scared that it may just, rub people the wrong way, or it just make it untouchable. It may make going through with such an agenda difficult.
There are some, and including some, I mean, you wouldn't think of, but in South Carolina, Democrats in South Carolina that have a criminal justice part of their platform, like Sean Kerrigan for the district here. And that, like I said, it's surprising. And he does talk about the racial element. So, I mean, there are a lot of candidates that talk about it and talk about the reality that it disproportionately affects black people, people of color, more so than it does white people. So, I mean, if you just want to talk about the truth, you would have to include that. But yeah. I understand what you're saying. And if you're just addressing the problem, I guess you're going to arrive at the solution without having to, say, hey, look at this black issue right here too.
If I'm thinking about it coming from your perspective, I think we all can agree that laws are a function of, I guess, the attitudes of society. So if we don't address those attitudes, those kind of those same circumstances will most likely repeat. So if you don't address the racial aspect of it head on, maybe acknowledge it at least
it's here.
It's here because it's not about the law necessarily. It's about how law is enforced.
Right.
So if you don't address that, you don't change how law is enforced. So maybe it won't change because you don't address the underlying attitudinal cause of how laws are enforced to affect black people disproportionately. So I do see it from your side too.
Yeah.
I would just be playing devil's advocate.
Yeah, I feel it's a much more welcome sight to see that, for somebody to address that, especially if that person is white. It's for you to address that, for you to actually see the problem and to see that this is a disproportionate problem. That rings like, oh, okay, hey, this dude has actually got his eyes open. He's willing to say it, or this woman is able to say it to everybody. Like, that's a good look. So, you know what? I'm like I said, I'm not going to write him off because he didn't include that. Just the fact that he's talking about that there is a problem with criminal justice and there's a problem with holding police accountable. It is going to step
and the fact that you have
most candidates.
Other people who have addressed it while including that aspect of it juxtaposed with him, it does kind of make you question, like, why didn't he kind of go that extra mile?
Yeah, I wish he would have. Okay. I wish he would have. But, to expect the perfect candidate. You know, there's a few of them that, like we said, go that extra mile and that I'm wholeheartedly supportive of. This guy, he seems like he wants to do the right thing, and hopefully, you know, he will take out the incumbent Rauner. Kansas. Look, Kansas is a problem, okay? Kansas is a problem. Now, I'm seeing right now that there's some initial reports out. The gubernatorial race there is between Chris Kobach and Laura Kelly, the Democrat. Chris Kobach is a horrible, horrible person. I mean, he's a horrible candidate. He's a horrible human being. He will be trouble for Kansas. He will be trouble for this country. We have talked about him before. He was trying to suppress the vote. Also, you remember he was trying to make it mandatory for you to prove your citizenship when you get your when you register to vote. And a judge struck that down and was like, you know what? You need to do some more training to get your for your law license. Is that what it did? What it is like? Yeah, you need some more hours of training.
Some more hours of training. That was his so-called punishment.
Yeah,
we don't know like how that panned out because I don't think I followed up.
I didn't follow up on that. But still, look, he's a bad guy. He's a bad guy, and he would be terrible for the state of Kansas. Laura Kelly, I've looked over her platform. I've seen her talk a few times. Again, I don't think she's the perfect candidate. I don't know that I'd call her progressive. But there are some aspects to her candidacy that I do like. She talks about overturning the adoption discrimination bill that's in Kansas. And what that allows adoption organizations to do is discriminate against people on the basis of religion or sexual orientation or whatever that they want to.
Because a lot of these adoption agencies are religious-based organizations.
Yes. So if they see your lifestyle that they don't agree with, then they're like, hey, we don't, you're not a good fit. Sorry, get out of here. Which is discrimination. It's not based on that person actually being able to foster a good environment for a child. It's just because you don't like the way they live.
So they would deny a child a family environment because of their backwards beliefs or their fears.
Yeah, exactly. So she, like I said, she wants to overturn that immediately. You know, if she gets into office. So that, like I said, that's one aspect of her candidacy that I definitely did like. So she's a Democrat, so she has the she's supportive of abortion rights. I believe she talks about a living wage, or making sure workers have a fair wage. Not specific though. Like I said, just more of your run of the mill type of Democratic platform. But that one issue stood out to me. So definitely right now it's only there's only a few votes being that has been actually,
they don't even have a percentage.
Not a percentage of the precincts reporting. She has a lead right now, but like I said, it's very early on. So what else we have in Georgia? There's no sense in even updating that. Only 2% more than it was before. Alabama, hell no, we ain't got no business. Oh, look at that. McMaster.
Just that quick.
McMaster took the lead.
Just that quick. Pulled in front.
8% in South Carolina. I think it's over.
It's funny, over. Like no matter what you're saying, it's over. No matter what the results are, it's over.
I think it's over.
No matter what side you go to.
Yeah, I think it's over. So all right, so let's talk about some other races. We haven't talked about any races in the House yet.
What's some like big ones? What's a big?
All right, so some big one. I'll start with New York. Let's start with New York, okay? Not just because I'm from New York. I'm just that's what's on my page.
It's a major one.
Yeah, it's a major one. New York's 22nd district. The incumbent Claudia Tenney, the Republican, she's going up against Anthony Brindisi, Democrat. Tenney is a horrible human being as well. If you can recall, after the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting in February of this year in Florida, she said, quote, "It's interesting that so many of these people that commit the mass murders end up being Democrats." You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
You remember that? There was no truth to her words at all. She just wanted to blame Democrats, like you were talking about with Brian Kemp. You know, just toss it out there.
Just toss it out there.
Just toss that grenade out there and blame Democrats. She also she accused Brindisi of flip-flopping on the issue of Medicare for All. She noted that Brindisi advocated for Medicare for All and then recently backtracked, right? So there's a little bit of information about this. So Claudia Tenney, when Brindisi talks about Medicare for All, she takes that as saying, oh, Medicare for All, that must mean, in her words, illegal immigrants, undocumented immigrants. So Brindisi was like, no, I'm not advocating for health care for undocumented immigrants in the Medicare for All platform. I'm not advocating for that. So she says that's the flip flop. You just backtracked on Medicare for All.
You know what? It's no wonder that
like,
Trump really likes
what?
her. It's no wonder why Trump really likes her.
It's mind numbing. He didn't say anything about undocumented immigrants being in the platform of Medicare for All. But you assume that, so now that he's saying that's not true, you flip-flop. See? Can't trust you.
Well, so anything you can do to attack an issue you know you can't, like, support as a Republican. Yeah. You have to find anything you can to kind of discredit the Medicare for All agenda. You have to find anything. So it's not even about their opponent. It's about like discrediting their agenda, an agenda that they know they cannot match up with.
Mm-hmm. In New York's 27th district, the incumbent Chris Collins, Republican, he's going up against Nate McMurray. Now we've talked about Chris Collins a number of times now.
What's the last time we? When's the last time we talked about Christopher?
Chris Collins, he was indicted.
Not too long ago,
Not too long ago, just a few months ago.
And he refused. He refused to step down.
Yeah, he refused to step down, and he refused to not run for re-election.
Yeah.
So, actually, initially, he suspended his campaign. But then about a month later, he was like, you know what? No, I'm going to keep going. No, I'm going to keep going. So, as it seems right now, just looking at the polls leading up to Election Day, a lot of them have him winning, which is crazy. He was indicted for insider trading. Okay, so he got a tip from a company that he was with, that he did business with. I mean, he was like on the board. He told that information to his son. His son passed that information along to his girlfriend, and then her family, her parents.
Basically, his in-laws.
Yes,
and they were on the hook.
Yes. And pretty much they all just sold the stock. The son couldn't sell all of it because he had so much of it. It would have triggered.
It would have looked. Yeah. It would have just sent up a red flag.
Yeah.
But it still sent up a red flag anyway.
Yeah, because he did this. Like, it was like he called his son like minutes after he got the information. Like the federal agents, they were able to piece all of this together.
Not only were they able to piece it all together, I think there's actually video of him receiving the information about the test or the trials failing.
Yes.
There's video.
Yeah, because he was out. He
was at the White House, I think. He was at some sort of White House picnic, and he was receiving the call, letting him know that the drug trial failed, so the stock was going to plummet. And I think during the press conference when his indictment was announced, they actually mentioned that. It was like 30, 45-minute press conference. They mentioned that because they were tracking him. So they had the timeline, and it matched exactly what the video showed. So this is an open and shut case, and not because of the evidence, but the unfortunate confession and the unfortunate confessions and ownership his in-laws have taken.
Well, see, you're going too far. See, they didn't confess to any wrongdoing. Not explicitly.
Not explicit. You know
but
what
they
I'm saying.
did give up ill-gotten gains. They did.
So
give
basically,
up
it's
ill-gotten
passively
gains.
saying we fucked up.
Yeah, like it was the girlfriend of Chris Collins' son and her mother. They agreed that if they weren't going to be charged, I guess, that they would give up their ill-gotten gains without admitting fault. So that's what they did. But Chris Collins, his son, and the father of the girlfriend, they've all been charged with insider trading. And Chris Collins is still trying to be reelected. So,
Like, what do you think that would do? Like, would that be bad for the party if he actually wins and then he gets indicted?
well, he's already been indicted.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, if he gets convicted. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. In short, yeah. I think that'd be bad for the party. But at this point, they couldn't put anybody else up.
So they had no choice.
It would be just a free ride
Wouldn't
to the election.
So who
to a win?
So
for
like,
McMurray.
what would happen? Like, would they have a special election, or would somebody appoint?
Oh no, because because McMurray. Look, they already went through the primary, and it was going to be them two going up on election day, and then he got indicted. So if he was to bow out, they couldn't put somebody else
up.
So it would have just been McMurray, and it would have been a sure win.
So what happens if he wins and then gets convicted? So like, how?
Okay. I see. I didn't see what you were saying. So if he wins and gets convicted, what happens then? Yeah, I assume there would have to be a special election. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there would be an appointment, then a special election, probably.
So it'd be like an interim.
Yeah, I guess so. But doing the appointing would be the governor. Which would be Cuomo.
Oh, damn. So it's almost like a lose-lose situation here.
Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah. All right. So also New York's 19th district incumbent John Faso, the Republican, he's going up against Antonio Delgado. We've talked about him one time before. I believe it was I think it was Tony that actually was talking about him. He was a former rapper. And GOP has been trying to label him the big city rapper.
Big city rapper. I remember that.
Because they're in a rural area. And they're like, hey, he's a rapper. Oh, we can't have that.
And it was like
in rural New York.
It was like 30 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
He was
ago,
a rapper 30 years ago.
It's silly. It's silly. But, because he had certain language and it's silly. It's silly. But you know what else is in his past? He's a Rhodes Scholar. He's a Harvard Law graduate.
But that doesn't matter. He was a rapper. See, this is why Republicans definitely tend to use younger voters.
Yeah. It's crazy, man.
Because you're not just saying something about him. You're saying something about everyone.
Yeah. And look, man, who buys the most rap music? White people do. White people
73 to 75% of
young
people
white people
who stream and or purchase rap music are white.
Young white people.
Young white people.
So I don't think that message is going to resonate with them.
I don't think that message is supposed to resonate to old heads.
Yes, it is.
Who just associate like rap with bad. Rap equals bad. No matter how long ago he did it.
2018. And you still trying to sell that in 2018?
Rap is bad. You might as well just be selling the whole welfare queens eating lobster and steak and drinking champagne.
It's about the same damn thing. All right. Finally, in New York's 2nd district, incumbent Peter King, Republican, he's going up against Luba Gretchen Shirley. So Gretchen Shirley, she ran a very progressive campaign. Medicare for all, universal background checks, no corporate PAC money, raising the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. And you know what? About the corporate PAC money, too. That's another thing that Bernie Sanders did for the Democratic Party in 2 years. If you really go through all of the Democratic candidates, especially in the House, I won't say all of them have taken that pledge and have said that they're not going to be taking any corporate PAC money. But there are so many of them that have the words blatantly on their campaign websites. in their platform, no, something's wrong with money in politics. I'm not taking any corporate PAC money whatsoever. You did not see this in 2016, 2014. You didn't see this at any point.
So it's not something that was a theme for the 2016 election. It's something that has kind of maintained its, I guess, energy. It's since that point.
Dramatic rise. It was only really Bernie Sanders that was talking about this. He made that like mainstream. In the 2008 presidential election, Barack Obama took a lot of corporate money.
Mm-hmm.
Hillary Clinton took a lot of corporate money. Midterms, candidates always take corporate money. But now in 2018, coming off of Bernie Sanders' candidacy for president, now everybody's like, nah, I don't want that. I don't want that. That's a stain. I don't want that. That's dramatic, man. That's absolutely dramatic. So Peter King, like we've talked about Peter King a few times too. Peter King, he needs to go. He's the one that he had very disparaging comments to say about the whole NFL kneeling.
Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah,
he said things about Colin Kaepernick, his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Did he compare like?
Well, no, that was Steve King.
That was Steve King. My
Yeah,
bad.
I get them mixed up too. But he said, you remember when the NFL finally came to this new rule about standing for the national anthem? Everybody, the staff, the players, everybody. And it was the acting owner of the New York Jets, that's Christopher Johnson. He said, hey, if any of our players stand and they get a fine or something like that, no, I'm taking that. I'm not going to allow our players to get fined for that. It doesn't have anything to do with whether I agree with them or not, because he said he's not in agreement with the kneeling. But hey, no. The players want to do that. No, I'm taking that. So Peter King had very disparaging things to say about that. Actually, I think we have that tweet up here. Yeah, he said disgraceful that New York Jets owner will pay these fines for players who kneel for the national anthem, encouraging a movement premised on lies versus police. Would he support? What was that? Would he support? I can't even see it. Okay. Would he support all player protests? Would he support fines of players given Nazi salutes? Yeah.
Or what? Yeah, it's kind of blurry.
I should have had it. Yeah, or spew racism. It's time to say goodbye to Jets. So yeah, Peter King, he's
one of those what I call injustice warriors. You know what I'm saying? You know that SJW
social injustice warriors.
You know that SJW like label. He's one of those like social injustice warriors.
That's funny. There's we were talking about, I'll just kind of go over to California just for a moment. Even though they haven't even stopped voting yet, they're of course they're 3 hours behind. But because we were talking about Chris Hunter, that kind of gets me into another guy, Duncan Hunter, the incumbent for California's 50th district, I believe. No, hold on. Yeah, 50th district. So Duncan Hunter is the Republican incumbent. He's going up against Amar Campa-Najjar. And Duncan Hunter has also been indicted by federal agents. He's been indicted for, what was that again?
Like campaign finance violation.
Yeah, he was using the money for personal use, right?
Using it
Hundreds
for
of
personal
thousands of
use,
dollars.
taking trips. Like
exotic trips.
Yeah. Going out to eat.
Yeah. So it wasn't just big purchases. It was just regular,
covering some of their debts.
Yeah. Just like paying for
it was like something
lunch,
crazy, like
their kids' lunches and stuff like that.
It was like $2,000, $3,000 at In-N-Out Burger. It was like regular stuff.
Bank overage charges.
Thousands
of dollars.
It was
for
like
bank
$30,000 in overage charges.
So and I've seen the projections, and in this district, Duncan Hunter is still projected to win. Now it's close, so Campa-Najjar could still pull out this win. But I find it laughable that somebody that used campaign money Money that was donated to him by people. He used it not for his campaign. He used it for his personal use, and the people are still going to reelect him?
Basically, like, in his own activities and how he engaged with his own campaign, he proved and showed that he is untrustworthy. He proved and showed...
And very unfit for office.
But very unfit for office before he got there. But yet those people still support him. So
amazing.
He basically stole their money.
Stole it.
It's like, no, this is not a situation where it's like he indirectly affected like tax dollars. He indirectly like, you know, affected people's welfare, people's livelihoods indirectly.
Yeah.
This is not one of those cases. Like he directly he directly
stole your money.
Ganked.
Right there in the pocket.
Right there.
Like, thanks for those contributions. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take care of my children's lunches. I got some bank overage charges. I can go ahead and take care of that.
He needs some
why don't we go to Italy?
And why don't we get? You know what I need? I need some cargo shorts. Some mobile cargo shorts. I was like,
oh my gosh, man. Look, like I said, the projections have him still winning that race. That will be an embarrassment for that district. The 50th district. That will be an embarrassment for you people.
So what are you saying is that like they don't really care about political corruption? To me, you vote for him and he wins, you don't get to complain about anything he does.
Nothing.
You don't get
because if he gets away with that,
if you allow somebody to get away with that, something so in your face and blatant, then what do you expect him to do once he gets elected?
You're okay with him using those funds not to propel his candidacy because you support him. Cool. You support him in his ideology, his platform, his agenda. Cool. You want him to be your politician. Cool. But are you okay with the money that you're giving him going into his pocket for personal use? Boy, that's whoa. But we'll see. Him and his wife were indicted too. So
yeah, because he appointed his wife as like campaign manager so she can have access to the funds.
It just gets worse, man. I'm telling you, the whole thing stinks, man. All right, what else we got? All right, let's stay on the east side since we, like I said, we don't
have any information.
Yeah, nothing. They haven't even stopped voting yet. Georgia. Okay, so let's go to Georgia in the House race. Right, there's one district that we're focusing on, and that's Georgia's 6th district. So the incumbent Karen Handel, a Republican, she's going up against Lucy McBath. So Lucy McBath, I don't know if that's a name that might register in a lot of people's heads. I'm not sure or not. If you are familiar with her story, then it would. So Lucy McBath is the mother of Jordan Davis.
Yeah.
Jordan Davis was the young black teenager that was shot and killed in Jacksonville, Florida in 2012, I believe.
So she's an activist.
Yeah, she's an activist.
Candidate.
Right. He was with his 2 other friends, I believe, and there was a white guy that showed up at a gas station. He felt like they were playing their music too loud, and at some point he felt like it was threatening. So
he started firing inside the vehicle. It was an SUV, I believe.
Yes, started firing inside the vehicle, and he hit Jordan Davis a few times. Jordan Davis died. At a very young age. His name is, the guy that showed up and started firing, that was Michael David Dunn. Ultimately, it took a second trial, but he was found guilty of murder. And he was sentenced to life without parole. And I think I can't remember, like plus 90 years, I think it was. So he's in jail for life, so that's great. But like I said, Jordan Davis's mother, Lucy McBath, she is an activist. I believe she was with the Mothers of the Movement as well. But she is now seeking office in Georgia's 6th district. So definitely I'm behind her candidacy. And looking at her platform, it is a little light though. Just to be honest, it's a little light.
She's probably most likely because she doesn't have the
maybe she's a
political
newcomer.
experience. She's a newcomer, not just a newcomer, but a newcomer that doesn't really have a political kind of background.
Yeah, that's possible. Like I said, it seemed pretty run of the mill Democratish, you know.